Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everybody doing today? We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it quick, but give me a minute. We're going to be talking about it. Everybody knows what's going on, so we're going to get into that in just a few moments. Um, Before we jump into anything, I want to remind everybody that this is a very friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat, no racism, no nastiness. If you cannot follow those easy, simple rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we're not going to tolerate stupidity. Just not going to do it, guys. It's not going to happen. All right. So we got what Bobby's here, beef and chicken, DJ's in the house, Romans 125 and 26. Paul Andre Lassard is here. JJ's in the house. Vicky's here, full of hope. Carol Prince. Mark is here. John Parks. So, guys, I'll tell you, thank you guys for being here. Unbelievably sad day. Uh, when you have an individual, and I'm going to talk about the person a little bit first, okay? A very passionate individual, believed in what he was talking about, never advocated for violence, didn't like violence, believed in having discussions, always opened his mic to anybody that wanted to have a discussion, and he would have a discussion with them. Obviously, I'm talking about Charlie Kirk, okay? 32 years old, I believe. Um, two young kids at home, was following his dream, talking to people on campuses and having conversations, and he was assassinated today. Uh, horrible situation, and it once again goes to the mindset of people. Um, very sad, very sad. A guy, like I said again, never advocated violence, always felt like talking and having debates was the way to go. It's unbelievable. When I heard about it, I was like, no, no way. And sure enough, it just goes again to continue to show the insanity of the left. The insanity of the left. I understand from what I've read here recently in the last 20 minutes, they have a person of interest in custody. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true. I hope they do. So, and it's bizarre. When I posted this live stream earlier today, hey, John Parks, sickening state of the world, RIP Charlie. Thank you very much for the statement and thank you for the donation. Absolutely sickening. Especially that somebody that wasn't a pot stirrer. I mean, he liked to have conversations, but, he was a positive person. Um, he would take apart people using their own information and logic and in intelligence, and they tried to belittle him because he wasn't college educated, but he tore them apart every time because he used his brain. You know, Unbelievably sad. It just I'm in shock because that could be anybody, folks. That could be anybody. And and this guy, he's not a politician. He's not a politician. But if there is a will, there's a way. Let this be a lesson to people. You know, yeah, the people that debated against him could not handle debating with him. No, they couldn't because they're just in their mind they're right no matter what. And to have somebody break it down and show the flaws in their reasoning and get them with the truth, they couldn't handle it. They didn't like it, you know. And I knew that he had security because people didn't like him, which is again, but unbelievable. Um, Unbelievable. Very, very sad. So, yeah, he was fair and moderate. Right. Craziness. We live in an insane world. And like I said, when I did this video, or stream, I said, is it about to jump off? Never knowing that we would be having, obviously, this conversation right now. Um, Brad says, so what happens now? That is a great question, Brad. Um, and then, of course, you have the left. You have, I saw that Gavin Newsom, uh, came out and said how horrible it was, and again, and they should be coming out and saying that. But this is also the side, and think about this, guys. Tell me if I'm wrong when I say this. They have advocated violence against people that disagree with them. They have. The left has. Um, you know, they have advocated for violence for people that don't go with what they say. And you see it on the news, you see it on the View, all these things. And then something happens, and then they go, "Oh no, we don't want to see that happen." It's exactly what they want to see happen, and that's my opinion. I'm giving you my opinion, okay? Because they're the ones, the legacy news media that perpetuates this nonsense all the time. They're the ones that should be held responsible when something happens, when something goes down like this. You know, one of the things I did want to talk about too, when you have, now they're going to go to this back to something that happened the other day, young woman killed on the train, right? And again, we're going to just, I'm going to be 100% honest with the situation. When they showed the rest of the video, and this individual stabbed that young woman in the neck, I think it was 3 times. There were 4 other people in that car. Did not one of them help that woman. That's disgusting to me. That is disgusting to me. Hey Ray, R.A.P. Charlie. I will miss listening to you on the radio. Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Thank you so much for the donation, and you're 100% correct. Terrible situation. I'm going to tell you what, and I'm going to make a statement here, guys, and tell me I'm wrong when I say this, because I would love to have somebody tell me I'm wrong when I say this. The situation on the train, we're going to go to that real quick. All right, we're going to come back to talking about Charlie Kirk. Situation on the train. If that had been a white man with 4 other white people on the train, and they had stabbed a black woman in the neck and reacted the same exact way that those people on the train did, they would be burning down Charlotte, North Carolina right now. They would be rioting in other cities, because how dare they, right? How dare they act like that? And you hear what the guy said? I got that white bee. Really? So tell me that's not a hate crime. I would like somebody to explain that to me. I hope this individual is brought up on a hate crime, because that's a hate crime. He targeted her because she was a small woman and white, and that's what happened. Why didn't he stab the fat black woman sitting on the other side? Why didn't he stab her in the neck? Terrible situation. And I hate bringing color into stuff, but I'll tell you what, if it doesn't fit the narrative, the media doesn't want to talk about it. They don't. All right. So if it's one way, they can yell racism. I'm going to give you another example of something, okay? And tell me I'm wrong on this one. Please tell me I'm wrong. A white guy walks into a black neighborhood, and they stop him. They kick his butt. What do the police say? What were you doing there? Why were you in that neighborhood, right? Are they brought up on civil rights charges, the people that stomped him out just because he was white, right? No, it's why were you there? Why were you in that neighborhood? Now, if a black man goes into a white neighborhood and they stomp him out, you're going to have the NAACP, You're going to have every Al Sharpton and all the rest of them yelling racism from the hilltops to anybody that'll listen. I'm so sick and tired of the double standard. I'm so sick and tired if it doesn't fit into the narrative the legacy news media wants to put out there, that they don't report it, right? I'm so sick and tired of the left advocating for violence, and then when it happens to an individual like Charlie Kirk, that was a non-violent individual. I'm going to say that over and over again, because he never one time said, we need to rise up in arms and take the left out. None of that stuff. How many times have you heard the left say that? They've already tried to assassinate Trump twice, folks. They've already tried to do it twice. Are you hearing about that in the legacy news media? Are they talking about that? Oh, no, we don't talk about that at all. They don't talk about that at all anymore. But if somebody had tried to kill that brain dead president that we had, Biden, it would have been a horrific thing. It's insanity, folks. We're living in insane times with insane people. And it is unbelievable that this type of stuff. Bert says she was a transsexual woman. I think I reported that earlier when I talked about that. If she wants to be called a woman, I don't have a problem with that. Okay, transsexual or not, whoever the person was, they were targeted because they were small and weak and they were white. That's why she was targeted. So, doesn't matter any of it. Terrible, terrible situation. And the left is the main one perpetuating violence. Never one time, I don't think any time have you ever heard me come on here and say, ever, we need to rise up and take these people out. Have I ever said that? Never. Hey, John Parks. Ed, we are at a tipping point for civil war. I cannot help to wonder. I am waiting to get into prepping so I can protect my family. Any advice? First of all, John, thank you for the statement. And thank you very much for the donation. I absolutely would recommend that anybody on here, and I'm gonna make a couple of points with this, okay? Number one, be able to protect yourself and your family. We have the Second Amendment for a reason, okay? Be able to protect your family no matter what. If somebody comes that wants to do violence to you, people that you love, put them in the ground. You don't want to put them in jail. Anybody, I don't care if it's left, right, whatever. If somebody comes to you that wants to do violence, you put them in the ground, period. Okay? I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. That's what I say. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, if you live in the cities, okay, I would highly recommend you get out of the cities. Get as far away from the craziness as you can. I am so fortunate to live where I live, and I picked this spot for a reason, folks. I picked it for a reason. My sister Margie's down. She just got into town today, okay? And she may be, next year, she may be moving down here, and I hope she does, because I can protect her and keep her safe if she does. So I really do hope that she comes down here to live. But she came down. She wanted to meet the members of the group. She wanted to check out the area. So tomorrow we're going to go out. We're going to go do some exploring. I'm going to show her around the area and stuff like that. Okay. But this world has gone insane. But get out of the cities. Be able to protect yourself. Going back to the question, make sure you have a minimum, folks, a minimum of 2 weeks of food and water available for your family, because it buys you time to think and plan if something goes down. It just, you got to be able to think of everything that you possibly can to put yourself in a better position when you get out of the cities, or if you get out of suburbia. I lived in suburbia. I've lived in the cities. Okay. I lived in Rochester, New York for years. I lived in Rochester, New York when I was younger. Okay. Lived in suburbia for a long time. It's now it's been 12 years ago is when I left suburbia, got my first homestead, moved there with my kids when the kids were 13 years old, moved there, and then from there I've moved down here. So um, but I will never advocate violence. I don't believe it's Rat Rod Prepper says I work in Rochester. It's getting worse. I believe it, especially when you have the liberal-minded judges that they've all loaded up the courts with, as we already all know, right? And they have the catch and release program. They're not putting these criminals in jail. When somebody's been arrested 14 times, going back to the other gentleman, and I can't even call him a gentleman because he's not a gentleman, he's an animal. They killed that woman on that commuter train. He was arrested 14 times, and some of it was for violent crimes. Hey, Malachi's Corner. Tomorrow is 9/11. Beware. Yes, it is. That's another anniversary coming up. Thank you very much for the donation, and thank you for letting people be aware. I'm sure a lot of people knew that was coming up, but just in case they didn't, it's something we should not forget that happened. And there's a lot to talk about with that, but that's another video that I could never do on YouTube. Never do on YouTube. But again, they keep letting these people go. This guy should have been in jail. He was out on bail, I believe, when he committed this crime for another crime, which he should not have been. Yeah, we were talking a little bit, Andrew, about this here just a moment ago, and we're going to get back to talking about that. I think it's absolutely horrible that happened to Charlie Kirk. Didn't deserve to be assassinated. It just goes to show you the insanity of people right now. Folks, I don't think we have a whole lot of time. I really, truly don't. I honestly believe you better be prepared as best way that you possibly can. You better get out of those places where it's a danger zone to law-abiding citizens, because these people do not follow the laws. Now, I understand, like I said, again, they have somebody in custody. I don't know how true that is. I just saw that just before, like 20 minutes before I came online. I saw that they said that they had somebody in custody. So I'm hoping that's true, that they've caught this person that did this, and that they pay the price for what they've done. So, JJ just made a great point. Going back to that other question I had, what should we be doing now? When you are out in public, keep your heads on a swivel. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to the people around you. Okay? If you can, be armed. I'll tell you, other than when I'm at work, you will never not see me with a weapon. I will always be in a position to defend myself. And I'm very fortunate that I now live in a state that believes that we have the right to protect ourselves. And they're not going to harass you because you carry a gun. I'm going to tell you what, folks. I don't carry a gun because I think I'm a tough guy. Okay? I don't. It has nothing to do with about being a tough guy. I will not be a victim. I will not be a victim. You are not going to victimize me. You're not going to terrorize me. I'm going to be in a position to be able to defend myself and defend the innocent people that don't want to carry a gun. You have a right. If you don't like guns, don't carry one. Fantastic. I don't care. Okay? But if a situation arises, being ex-military and being trained, I will confront. I will attack somebody that's trying to hurt somebody else. That's just my mindset. It's always been my mindset. All right. And so thankfully, I'm in a state where I'm allowed to do that. And, it's happening over and over and over again. And I'm really curious, is it medication driven? What meds are these lunatics on? Because most of them are on something, right? They're on something. And so, be aware, know your surroundings. When I go to a restaurant, I sit in a position where nobody is behind me if I can help it. And I have my back to the door so I can pay attention to comings and goings. I know my exits. I'm looking at the people around me Who do I think could handle themselves? Who do I think might be a threat? And that's, I pay attention to those things. So we live, and I've talked about this. First of all, we're at 325 in the chat, guys. We got 125 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to please ask you to do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. So the more interaction, the better for the channel. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you ahead of time for that as well. So, folks, again, I will never advocate violence, but you better be ready to protect yourselves. You better be ready to protect the people that you love, because you just don't know. There's been a group of people, obviously, mostly on one side, and it's proving to be people on the left. It just is. I'm not making it up. Look at all these shootings, right? A lot of these mass shootings. Who's it been done by? Is it being done by conservative, Second Amendment believing people that are walking around armed? No. It's a lunatic that has an agenda. They are being brainwashed by the media. The media is telling. Look what they do with Trump, folks. He's the next Hitler. He's a fascist. He's going to do this and he's going to do that. Do you think that somebody that is already mentally unstable, all right, somebody who's already mentally unstable is going to watch that and go, you know what, I don't believe that, or it's going to feed that with. That's all it's going to do is feed that with them. So Delbert said, Ed, I have a brother-in-law that I don't totally trust. Well, then you keep an eye out, Delbert. You keep an eye out. JJ said, and yet the left wants to take your guns away. Yeah, insanity, But it's unbelievable, unbelievably sad. It's a sad day for this country. I would consider Charlie Kirk a patriot. He was passionate about what he believed in. Oh, I was going to mention something else about this other thing on the train. Van Jones. Everybody knows who Van Jones is if I'm talking about him. If you don't, look the guy up. Another race-baiting piece of garbage. He was saying that the black guy that stabbed that woman in the neck, that he was the victim. He was the victim. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I saw that. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Listen, hate is hate, period. Whoever perpetuates hate against somebody else because of the color of their skin, because of their religion, because of the way they look, that's a hate crime. And you can't justify that. I don't care who you are. I'm so sick and tired of this nonsense that goes on and on and on. And there will be people out there, folks, that will applaud the death of Charlie Kirk. They'll applaud it. They will do what it takes to help you stay stable. For letting me share, Ed, I feel that people need to be read and hear the other side of the story. No need to respond. Oh, I believe that we should have a debate, an open debate. And that's what Charlie Kirk was trying to do. He was trying to have an open mic to talk to people. Did he yell and scream at people? I want you to think about this, guys. Have you ever listened to Charlie Kirk on any one of these campuses? I have several times listened to him, okay? Not one time did he flip out on anybody. Did he yell and scream at anybody? Not one time. He always said, let's have a debate. Let's have a discussion. He lets people say what they want to say. And then he'll start to, respond. And if they interrupt, he'll say, wait a minute, folks. Let me respond. I let you talk. Let me talk. Always that way. So, yeah, he was always open to civil discourse, of course, as we all should be, left or right. Listen, I don't love everything on the right. Okay, I don't. I don't love everything on the left. I'm probably would be considered more of a moderate or an independent because there's certain things on the left that I agree with, there's certain things on the right that I agree with, and some on both sides that I don't. I consider myself an independent thinker. I don't go, I'm on this side or I'm on that side. I don't do that because I don't agree 100% with what either side is doing. But again, the side that is advocating violence that we're seeing, okay, that we're seeing, social media, The View is a great example of that. You know, the legacy news media, that's the side, guys, that puts all these thoughts in these mentally disturbed people's minds, and they go, hey, I'm going to be the hero. I'm going to do something about this evil person. Tell me Charlie Kirk wasn't vilified by the left. Tell me he wasn't. Okay? Tell me he wasn't. He was vilified. They hated him. Why did they hate him? Because he made sense and he could break it down and have a civil discussion. So, you know, I don't know. Like I said, it's a terrible day for this country. Um, yeah, John Park says, makes you wonder what's next. Exactly. Yeah, of course he was, because he spoke the truth. Exactly, JJ. That's exactly it right there. Because he told the truth. He told you, even if it made you uncomfortable, he shattered your delusions or the lies that are being spread nonstop. Nonstop. And that's what it's about. And that's how it should be. You know, we should care for each other as human beings, period. God, I wish we could come together as a nation and realize, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of your background, where you came from, what you believe, that we should be working together. I honestly would love to see that happen. I honestly would. Do I think it'll happen? I don't. I think it's too far gone. I honestly do. Um, and, it's an insane world. Yeah, Charlie Kirk was like the doctor that never sugarcoated the results of any test. Exactly, Frank. Good statement. Thank you for that. Guys, if you want something to stand out for me, please all cap lock so I can just really focus on it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, very sad day in this country. Um, I don't want to see anybody killed because of what they believe in, right, wrong, or indifferent. So, unbelievable. Unbelievably sad. Um, just a crazy, insane world we live in now. And people wonder why. People wonder why I live in the middle of the woods, away from everybody. Margie sat here today. We're sitting outside, and she goes, "It's so quiet here." I go, "Yeah, that's what I love about it the best. It's so quiet, and it's not the hustle and bustle and dealing with a whole bunch of different people that you don't know." Um, Rat Rod Prepper said it's going to be martial law eventually if it keeps going this way. Hard to enforce, other than in cities, suburbia, and stuff like that. Very, very difficult to enforce. But yeah, just I don't know. I just, like I said, I want every heads on a swivel. Pay attention to what's going around you. Be able to the Lamb's Light. Some of my comments are being deleted. By who, Lamb's Light? I haven't seen any of your comments. Maybe it's YouTube deleting them because it's not my. If they come up and we see them, and if it's something horrible or terrible, um, yeah, YouTube's doing it probably because it's not my moderators. But Yeah, it's just it's oh yeah, YouTube shadow bans. You think? You think? Um, just keep your heads on a swivel, folks. Um, be ready. That's what I would highly recommend. Keep your families close if you can. Keep them safe. You know, we can't keep them safe every second of every day. We just do the best that we can. But just be ready. If something jumps off, would it shock me? It would not. It would not shock me. You know, there's a certain group of people out there that would love to see it jump off. YouTube censors comments with keywords not suitable for their liking. Yeah, no kidding. They censor channels the same way, JJ, as you know. Um, yeah, they still delete a lot of my comments in Lamb's Light because they say my name is mean and offensive. Yeah, I know you had to change that, and it's so stupid too. Oh yeah, no, that's not a bad. Yeah, definitely not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Like even if you guys are at work, um, if you can have something in your car that you can get to if you need to, even if the place that you work says don't. I know that I worked at this one place, and the boss, the manager of the place, said, "Now we're not supposed to have anything on the premises." She goes, "But I have something in my car." Um, and I told her, I said, "I always have something in my car, just because you never know. And if I need to go out and get what I need to get." Ed, it really quiet here today, and my rooster sounded off big time. Went out there, and it was a copperhead snake out there. Oh wow! I got to tell you, I've been very fortunate here. Um, that I have not had to deal with copperheads. I haven't seen any. I know we got them in the area, so I mean I know that they're here. Um, oh, I was going to tell you guys this. This is what I saw today. So, like I said, my driveway is 8/10 of miles, and I've talked about that. And I was driving out, and turkey vultures flew out. It was four of them flew off. And I said, something's dead over there. Something is dead over there. So I stopped the truck. I got out, walked to the area, and it looks like a kill site. Okay. And in my opinion, it looked like somebody was poaching because there was the front and the back hoofs of the deer in a pile over here. Okay. Guts were still there. Nothing else. Everything else was gone. So if that was coyotes or anything like that, the carcass would still be there. They don't drag off the carcass; they would eat what they were going to eat. But yeah, it's off topic. My cat got caught by a coyote, so watch your animals closely. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, John. Yeah, that sucks. We have coyotes in the area. We definitely have. But yeah, I thought somebody was poaching. That's what I figured. Somebody was poaching. Oh, deer, turkeys. I've seen more turkeys this year than ever before. A lot of deer, rabbits. I've seen a lot of rabbits this year. So but my kids call our kitties coyote cookies. Oh my God, that's terrible. But yeah, folks. Like I said, it's just the world has gone insane. It really has. Um, a lot of it's perpetuated again. I 100% in a lot of these cases when things are happening, I blame the media because they fan the flames, especially if it fits their narrative. If it fits their narrative and they can push an agenda, that's what they're going to do. What do you think about the Russian drones in Poland's airspace? I heard about that, Alex. And Poland shot the drones down. I heard that as well. Could have been by accident. You don't know. I don't. I think if Russia was going to attack Poland, Poland wouldn't stand much of a chance, realistically. You know. Everything is done now, though, with so that could also, Alex, just saying, not saying it's going to be the case, that could also be a false flag, right? They could say, oh, we were attacked by Russian drones, which gets what in? Poland is part of NATO. So that could amp things up, right? That could amp things up. So maybe the drones were trying to defect. Oh my God, that's too funny. But again, you don't know. Again, we don't know the full story of what's happened over there. We're never going to know the full story. We're told what they want us to hear. That's what you got to remember too. Okay, that's what you got to understand. We are told what they want to share with us. Period. Nothing else. So, but I'm absolutely in shock with this situation with Charlie Kirk. Uh, Wife, two young children at home. I think his son is 1 and his daughter's like 3. And NATO has already said that act was an act against NATO. Oh, yeah, of course, because they want to get into it, JJ. They want to get into it. Well, let them fight it as long as we're not involved in it. Let them do it. So that don't end well for anybody. None of that does. Yeah, be careful of AI false news clips as well, seeing more and more. Again, there is an agenda. Don't kid yourself. There's an agenda. They want to stir that pot. They want people to rise up and do something. They want that. That's what they want to see happen. And if you do that, all it's going to do is cause you trouble. I'm a believer. Do you think Israel might pull back from its ties with Israel over the Qatar bombing? Absolutely not, John. We are never pulling back our ties with Israel. We are tied at the hip with Israel. Who do you think really runs this country? I just and you can take that for whatever you want to take it at. Okay, we are never gonna not have Israel's back. I'll just put it like that, and you can take that any way that you want. But Nick says one side wants blood and is willing to go out and get it, and the other side just complains online. You know what? I know what you're saying there, Nick, and I get what you're saying. But if you if you if you advocate violence as an answer for something that happens, what does that solve? What does that help realistically? Okay, what does that help? It doesn't. So my thing is this: I believe in always being to react. Okay, if something happens, be in a position to react. Well, act if something happens. You know, don't be a victim. That's what I've advocated that all along. Don't be a victim. Put yourself in a situation where you can defend yourselves and the people around you. Um, Again, the answer to violence is not more violence. It really isn't. Uh, you know, Hopefully they have this shooter that did this. Okay, beef and chicken. The Ukraine girl who supported BLM. Oh, okay. People's politics should have nothing. I'm going to break this down for you guys, and you may agree, you may disagree. I don't care what anybody's politics is. For somebody to be killed strictly because they were white or they were black or they were weak and small is not right. And I don't care what her politics were. I really don't. She did not deserve to die like that on a train. And you had people there that could have tried to help her and did nothing. They did nothing. So to me, they're pieces of garbage as well. How could you sit there and something like that happens and do nothing? What? Because you don't want to get involved? You know? You got to pick your battles. I will tell you that right now. They released that the person was arrested that killed Kirk. Good. I thought I saw that. Um, I saw it. I thought I saw that. They're pushing for the death penalty against a stabber. Good. When you are a career criminal, folks, okay? When you're a career criminal and it's crime after crime, I think that guy was arrested like 14 times. That's not somebody that's just having a mental episode, okay? That's somebody that's used violence in the past. Some of his charges in the past were violence, okay? Um, so Oh, that's a good statement. It's almost like he was shot in the neck voice box to make a statement. We will silence you. Well, they silenced him, didn't they? Unfortunately. Like I said, just it's a sad day for this country. And again, like I said, listen, I'm going to throw some names out there, people that I don't care for. All right. I don't like Kamala Harris. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Ocasio Cortez. Um, you know, Van Jones, people like that. But I would never come on here and say somebody should take them out. I would never say that because that's not the answer. The answer is to show them for the fools that they are using intelligence. And that's what Charlie Kirk did constantly, over and over and over again. And that's one of the reasons why they killed him. Cuba's entire electrical grid collapsed. Yay, communism. Not a surprise. Not a surprise. But again, folks, like I said, all we can do is be ready, be prepared to act. When something happens, you don't want to be running around going, oh my God, what am I going to do? You need to be ready to act at that time. You know, if you remember, and the thing is too, and this is another example of the news media because of the way it was taken care of. Remember that shooter in that mall in Minnesota, right? And that young man who was 23 pulled out his weapon and he killed that shooter. Killed him. Took him out. Did the news media applaud him? Did they say this individual saved lives, right? You didn't hear a big fanfare about that. Should have been, because it's exactly what that young man did. He should be given a medal because he took out somebody that was looking to hurt innocent people. And that's what these people do. They want to take out innocent people for what? For what reason? Because they're angry, because their life hasn't gone the way that you thought it should. I'm going to give you guys a wake-up call here, okay? Not one of it out here, unless it's gone swimmingly, perfectly the way you wanted it to go. And I can't think of anybody that life has gone exactly the way they wanted it to go. We've all dealt with adversity. We've all dealt with failure, okay? Stop blaming other people for your own failures and wanting revenge or I'm going to get payback because they did me wrong. Kind of look in the mirror. Were you part of that reason why things went bad? Okay? It happens. What did you contribute to that going the way it went down? All right? Look in the mirror. Take a look at yourselves. But the biggest thing any of us can do when you have failure, look at anybody like Elon Musk and all those people that are highly successful. They failed over and over and over again. And then finally, they found their niche, found something, and they were successful. I'm telling you, stand up, dust yourself off, and go, okay, that sucks. Not a good situation. Things are going to get better. Life is going to get better. And that's the way we need to be living our lives. It really is. And stop blaming other people for our own actions. That drives me more nuts than anything else, you know? So, but yeah, Colonel Sanders was in his 60s before he actually became successful. Exactly. That's a great example. Great example. So, all right, guys, I'm going to ask. We got 370 in the chat. We got 210 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. We're going to do the egg count right now. So we're going to do total number of eggs today. Did Miss Betty White lay, yes or no? And number 3, we have the 3 Easter eggers. How many of them laid today? So how many total eggs, yes or no for Betty White, and did the Easter eggers lay? So we're going to go from there. So give you guys a minute to get your guesses, and then I will tell you who is correct and who is not correct. So give you a minute to do that, and I will let you know. Just give you guys one more minute here. I just want peace, folks. For me, leave me alone. Let me live my life. Let me be the prepper that sits up in the middle of the woods and the mountains waiting for the end of the world to happen. All right? That's fine. That's fine. You can call me crazy all day long, but I'll have peace. I will have peace. All right, guys, if you had the same guess, let me get the name right again. I want to make sure I say the name right. All right. If you have the same exact guess as Steve-O Peacock. Steve-O Peacock. 8 eggs today. Yes for Miss Betty White. And all 3 of the Easter eggers laid today. So it was 8, yes, and 3. So that's where we were at today. So congratulations to Steve-O Peacock. I can guarantee you that's his first win ever. You have won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it because I've never seen him win before. I would remember that name. So that's his first win. So congratulations. But yeah, like I said, peace of mind. Peace of mind is huge. Peace of mind is very huge. Denise says, I got a Betty White too. Yeah, she's my all white hen that lays white eggs. Only one. She's the only one. And man, she's a little bitty chicken, and her eggs are enormous. I'm like, that poor girl, but she's steady. She is steady. She'll lay 8 out of 10 days easy, if not 9 out of 10. She's pretty good chicken. And the new ones are doing pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with the chicks. They're doing well. So. What do you think about, in Chicago right now, citizens saying they will fight back against the military? Let them. See what happens. What's that old saying? F around and find out. They're not going to do that, John. They're not going to do that. All that is this. That's all that is just talk. Until something happens, and they get stomped in the ground, and then they'll cry like little girls. It's nice to talk a big game, but when push comes to shove, that's when you find out. Is that play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Poland is as capable as Ukraine, if not more. I don't believe they would have as much luck with Poland. They can't even take Ukraine. See, the worst part about it, Josh, they could if they wanted to. But it's more profitable for big businesses, especially the military industrial complex, so we can keep making bombs and we can continue doing that type of stuff. The longer we drag these wars out, you don't think Israel is capable of stomping Gaza into a mud hole? Look how they were steamrolling through that area. They were steam, and then they just stopped. Why? Because they were so afraid of Hamas. Please. Now the war's dragging on and on and on. And so what happens? We sell Israel more arms. Arms are getting sent to Ukraine. Somebody's paying for them. And these big, you think that uh, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, I think it was, trying to think of some of the other ones, all these big companies that make them weapons, you think they're giving them away? You think that they're just going, hey, you know what? We believe in your cause, so we're just going to give you these weapons. It don't work like that. They're making a pant load of money off of that. So Lockheed Martin, thank you. I was blanking out on that, but they're making a pant load of money. So the longer these wars drag on, the more money is made, and that's why there's no more winning wars, folks. There is no more winning wars. Israel could have completely decimated Hamas by now, easily. They were doing it. They were doing it. You think they stopped because of public outrage and some hippie in America with purple hair, poor guys with their sign? That's why they stopped? You're delusional if you think that's the case. It's always about money at the end of the day. What happened? Right. If you can see, the other thing is too, what you guys fail to pay attention to. A lot of people fail to pay attention to. What did we do? Trump got into office, right? And very quietly, they didn't announce it. They didn't talk about it on the press, all that type of stuff. What did we do? We completely rearmed Israel. We loaded Israel up, folks. Yeah. We loaded them up. And what are they doing now? They're attacking this place. They're attacking that one. They're going over here. They're doing whatever they want to do. And you know why they're doing that? Because they have us. They have America sitting back there going, don't you screw with Israel. I mean, be realistic. Say it for what it is. You think Russia would lose a real war with Ukraine? Come on. No. It's all a game. If you haven't figured that one out by now, I don't even know what to tell you. It's all a game. But the worst part of the game is who dies, right? In Afghanistan, in Iraq, who died? Our young men and women came back maimed and mutilated, and the ones that came back physically whole, right? They were never the same after that. Why do you think that there's 22 suicides a day from ex-military? Why do you think that is? Because of what they've seen, what they had to do, right? Did we free Afghanistan? Did we free Iraq from the tyranny and the horribleness? What was it really all about? Rare earth minerals, opium? I mean, I'm asking questions. That's what I'm asking, right? Oil. What's it really about, folks, at the end of the day? Because we care so much for the world. And so when we abandoned Afghanistan after 20 years, what has happened there? It went right back the way it was. Right back the way it was. Right? We're willing to make a deal with Ukraine. We'll be your back. We'll have your back, Ukraine. But what are you going to do for us? Right? Think about that. What was the big talk about? Rare earth minerals. I mean, so let's, if it looks like a chicken, it walks like a chicken, and it talks like a chicken, it's probably a chicken. Black pill mess. Hey, Ed, snipers are the hardest to detect there. An old case study from 2009 where a white couple got sniped in Jefferson National Forest. He never been caught. Dangerous humans everywhere. Snipers are definitely. Thank you very much for that statement, and you're 100% correct. I appreciate the donation as well. But yeah, snipers are anybody that's really trained, that has an agenda. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to do what they're going to do. And a lot of times, who is it realistically backed by? And I'm not talking about a sniper in the woods in a state park. If there is an assassination attempt, usually there's a patsy that's on a rooftop. And the real sniper is somewhere else, on a tower, a water tower, maybe farther away. that can make that 1,000-yard shot with no problem at all. And because the individual turns at the last minute and gets hit in the ear and instead of the head like he would have if he hadn't, not mentioning names, just saying, right? Why did certain news channels decide we're going to advertise and show this particular speech on this particular day when they generally would not? That's interesting. I find a lot of things interesting. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, folks, out there that happen. We're never going to get the truth. We're never going to get the real answers. If they want something to happen, they're going to make it look like, again, in this situation with the drones into Poland. Was it really Russia? Was it an accident? Any of it? I don't know. I wasn't there. But I'm definitely a person that would say, well, what is Russia's reply? I haven't heard that yet. I haven't heard them talking about Russia's reply, right? You know, what's going on? So why can't each country just look after themselves? It'll never happen, Mary. Never happen. So there's always a million questions, guys. You're never, ever going to get the straight answer. Very few people will ever know the truth. Heaven is coming up tomorrow. If you believe what you're told, that is your option, and you can believe whatever you're told. I think possibly something different. Obviously, I can't say it here on YouTube because I will be hit for misinformation and all that type of stuff. But when you have structural engineers and a lot of them saying something doesn't add up here. Yeah, Cheez-Its are back. I'll kick that way. Roy went out today and he came back and he goes, I got a gift for you. And he handed me a box of Cheez-Its. So it's a big box. It's got 2 big bags of Cheez-Its in there. So I will definitely be having some Cheez-Its. So thank you, Roy. Appreciate the Cheez-Its. But again, guys, unfortunately, when events happen, like tomorrow is 9/11, when events like that happen, innocent people die. And again, for what? For what? What was a direct result of that? 20-year war in Afghanistan, the Patriot Act that was written way ahead of time being enacted, and the American people went, yes, please spy on us. Please take away our rights. You know, got everybody on board. Let's go get that terrible Saddam Hussein. Let's go get him. Suckers, easily manipulated. If the pandemic didn't show you that, I don't know what will. So, again, question everything. Question everything. That would be my advice to everybody. Never take anything you see at face value. There's always an agenda, you know, and we're never always going to know what that is. I hope we don't go to war with Russia or anybody else. You know, and if we do, be ready to take care of your families, folks. Do everything in your power to protect the people that you care about. That would be my advice. It really would be. It's a sick, sick world out there. It really, truly is. My thoughts go out to Charlie Kirk's family, his wife, and his children. A terrible, terrible thing happened to that man today. For what? For why? Because he thought differently? Because, you know, I don't know. It's a very sad day in this country. Very, very sad day in this country. You know, people being killed for no reason. None. People that are minding their own business. You know. Again, now if I was on that train, where would I have sat? Wouldn't be sat with somebody right behind me. I would try to go to the very back of the car and sit with my back against the wall. That's where I would sit. That's just me. Because I don't trust people. I don't trust people. You don't know what's in somebody's mind. Ed, probably my last question of the night. Got to make dinner. What do you think about South Korea getting mad with us about the Hyundai factory raid? Well, I, I just let them be mad. Too bad. How about you have the people here legally, right? Not illegally. You think South Korea is gonna say screw America too? No. It's all of it's grandstanding, John. A lot of it's just grandstanding. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you with this STD, step, thing, and day. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do, if you set realistic goals in life and you follow that mantra, one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time, you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. Please be safe, pay attention, and just be ready, okay? Um, Protect your families. That's what I would say more than anything else. So I will see you all later. I hope you all have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.